United States Conference of Catholic Bishops explore in their comprehensive immigration reform. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops offers a comprehensive set of recommendations for changing U.S. law and policies that reflect the principles contained in Scripture and Catholic social teaching. When we look at the issue of immigration, two distinct areas that are being focused on is human dignity and solidarity. So a few areas of reform that were outlined by the Bishops' Conference, and I would like to say that there have been multiple statements and documents written by the Bishops' Conference along with the bishops of Mexico and of the United States. So there's been great writing that you can find on the USCCB website. The first area and recommendation is to look at global anti-poverty levels. Migrants leave their homes, land, out of economic necessity. Of course, concerns for taking care of themselves and their families. Trade, international economic aid, debt relief, and other types of economic policies should be pursued that result in individuals not migrating out of desperation. Another key area of concern is that the expanded opportunities to reunify families. Many individuals in this country live in separation from close family members. Some family members wait 5, 15, or many more years than that for a visa to become available. The bishops make it very clear that there should be a reduction of the pending backlog and more visas available for family reunification purposes. Another key area is the temporary worker program. Many people come to the United States to fill jobs. Bishops recognize this reality and call for a more rational and humane system by which laborers from other countries can enter this country legally to fill positions in the labor force, including on a temporary basis, speaking right there directly to the issue of the human dignity of the person. Some other parts when we talk about the temporary worker program, a few key other areas would be path to permanent residency, which is achievable, family unity, which allows immediate family members to join the worker, jobs which allow workers to change employers, labor protections which apply to U.S. workers, enforcement mechanisms and resources to enforce workers' rights, wages and benefits that do not undercut domestic workers, mobility between the United States and homeland and within the United States, labor market tests to ensure U.S. workers are not being harmed. Another area of recommendation is the issue of broad-based legalization. For those in this country without proper documentation, opportunities should be provided for them to obtain legalization. Earned legalization should be achievable and independently verifiable. And the final piece that the bishops speak about is the restoration of due process. In recent years, immigrants have been subject to laws and policies that debase our country's fundamental commitment to individual liberties and due process. These laws and policies, including detention for months without charges, secret hearings, and ethnic profiling, signal a sea of change in our government's policies and attitudes toward immigrants. These attitudes are clearly not acceptable. Government policies that unfairly and inappropriately confuse immigration with terrorism do not make us safer. It tarnishes our heritage and damages our standing abroad. The Bishops' Conference believes that our nation can protect its citizens from terrorists and remain a safe haven for legitimate asylum seekers fleeing persecution. Here in the Diocese of Erie, through Catholic Charities Counseling and Adoption Agency, I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the work they do for refugees. Refugees coming from all over the world, Eastern Europe, Africa, that are coming here. And it's interesting how they would get a visa, but maybe not their family member. So Catholic Charities Counseling and Adoption Agency is really focused on our refugee program and reuniting families, but also giving those who come to this country an opportunity to flourish and opportunities that we can uphold their human dignity. The bishops have written many documents, and that's basically what I talked about was a synthesis of what's been written. But they are deeply committed to comprehensive immigration reform.
Thanks, Erin. I don't want to repeat because coming from also the Catholic heritage, we accept and reinforce what Erin has already said. And I would like to point out that on the web, the website Justice for Immigrants, that is the U.S. Catholic Conference of Bishops website, is absolutely excellent for all sorts of resource material that you might have. I would just like to say that the Sisters of St. Joseph, the Federation, our congregation across the United States, there are probably 6,000 to 7,000 of us, and that's not counting our associates. Some of our communities have more direct contact with the immigration problem. And I was at a meeting in California a couple of years ago where we heard the testimony of 5 undocumented immigrants, and the stories that they told. Some of them were brought here 2 or 3 years old. Are we going to send them back? This is the only country that we know. And so in September, we issued the following statement. We, the U.S. Federation of the Sisters of St. Joseph Leadership Council, compelled by the gospel and by our heritage to respond to the dear neighbor without distinction, call on President Obama and the 2009-10 Congress to enact immigration policy that is both just and comprehensive. We believe that the policy must include, and I'll try to make this brief because these points have been made before, addressing the backlog of applicants. Some of them, as Erin mentioned, can wait 5, 10, 15 years. An effective program for temporary workers, a realistic path to earn legalization, restoration of due process, and reform detention policies. When I was in the Chicago area for our meeting last October, the sisters went out